Bom dia. Welcome to the United States of Brazil. My name is Stone. I'm a 52-year-old veteran who upped and moved from Arizona to Fortaleza, Brazil. As you can see over my shoulder, this is my playground. Water is always 83 degrees. Temperature's pretty much the same all year round. And it's a lot cooler than Arizona. But this is basically a veteran's travel guide for anyone looking to move to Brazil or ever thought about moving to Brazil. I'm going to go over all the ups and downs and what you should and shouldn't do, what the good things and the bad things are, and how not to get taken advantage of, and how to actually live a really happy life out here. So I hope we get to become friends. I hope you stick with me through all these videos, and we'll get started with the video coming right up. Thanks. Alright, so how do you get to Brazil? Great question. In this video, we have 7, actually 8 pieces we're going to go over. It's pretty simple. The first one are your birth certificates. We're going to go over birth certificates, how to get them transposed. The second one is going to be your CPF, which is like your social security number in Brazil. The third one will be your FBI background checks and your city background checks. Next, we're going to go to your FMP program. That if you're a veteran, the FMP program is a foreign medical program. This gives you health insurance overseas. Very important. We'll go into that as well. Then you're going to have to choose your type of visa. The type of visa you're going to choose depends on what you're coming here for. Retirement, nomad, investor, several different types of visas you can apply for. Next, you're going to have to prove your income. I'm going to show you or teach you or tell you how to prove your income for Brazil and make sure everything works out properly. So sit back. Oh, wait, no. Number 8. 8 would be the apostille. And the apostille kind of encompasses the whole package. That's the person who's going to translate all of your stuff into Portuguese. So that's a very important person. So that's kind of 8. So 7 or 8. Sit back, relax. We'll get right into it. And we'll see you guys in a minute. Alright, welcome back. Alright, we're going to go over birth certificates. Very important. You cannot move to Brazil without a birth certificate. And you definitely can't move to Brazil without a wet copy of your birth certificate. A wet copy of your birth certificate basically means it has to be 90 days or less. So, you have to go to where you were born. If you were born in the city of New York, in Manhattan, you have to go there. If you were born in Maricopa County, in Arizona, you have to go to Maricopa County, Phoenix, Los Angeles County. You have to get a wet copy of your birth certificate. Shouldn't take that long, but it's one of the first or second things you're going to have to get. You might run into a little bit of a problem if you're trying to do this 6 months of a year or a year. If you run into the problem I ran into, I was adopted. So I went to go find my birth certificate where I was born, and they sent it back to the state of New York. Now that could have taken 3 months to 4 months to try to track down, which would have been terrible. But the lady on the phone was very nice, and she had a friend in the business who helped her get me my information, so I got it in about 3 or 4 days. Very nice. I actually gave her a present on Amazon because she was so nice. Otherwise than that, it shouldn't take you that long to get a wet birth certificate. I keep going over an apostille, and I'm going to go over an apostille again at the end, which is number 8, which is not really number 8, but apostille means that once they send you your birth certificate, you actually have to send your birth certificate back to the county or state it came from, get the apostille in that state or county to translate it to Portuguese, and then they certify it and send it back to you. Yeah, I know, it gets sent to you, then you have to send it back to a different person, get it translated, get it certified, sent back to you. Without a wet copy, without it being apostilled and certified, you're not getting into Brazil, you're not getting a visa of any kind. So it's very important that you get a apostilled copy of your birth certificate once you get it. You can't get it done in the state that you're in. Has to be done in the state that you got your birth certificate. So it gets sent to you, or me, and you send it back. Okay? Easy peasy. Unless you're adopted and you can't find your birth certificate, then it gets a little bit harder. But I was able to do it, so don't be scared. Don't be frustrated. I just want you to know that, yeah, that can happen. All right? See you guys on the next topic. Welcome back. All right, so number 2 is going to be your CPF. Your CPF is like your Social Security number in America, which is great if you have terrible credit in America, because you can get a whole new credit score in Brazil, completely separate. Doesn't follow you. Thank God. I was not a very responsible teenager. But anyways, your CPF, you need to fill out the online paperwork. I'll put a link to where you can go. You fill out all the information and you send it in. They will get the information and they will send you back a receipt. And when it's ready, they will ask you to set up an appointment. Now, the appointments are in all different places. I went from Arizona to Los Angeles. I drove it. It wasn't that far. There's all different Brazilian consulates all over the place. Mine just happened to be closest to Los Angeles. Without your CPF, and I don't care what anybody tells you, I couldn't rent an apartment. I couldn't buy a car. I couldn't get a bank account. Hell, they ask you for a CPF almost for everything you do here. It's almost like a way that the government is able to find out how much you're spending to how much you owe in taxes. Now remember, once you have a CPF, you basically are a Brazilian. You will have to do taxes every year like everyone else. I suggest getting together with a tax lawyer out here. It's not that hard. You're not going to make that much. I don't make that much. I don't put that much in my account. I still have my American account. I just transfer money here with Wise or whatever, international banking transitions you can do. But your CPF is very important. Once you get your CPF card, you're really in a position to be able to do anything. And people actually look at you much differently here when you have a CPF. Because when you're American or a gringo and you're running around and you're asking people to do things and they ask you for a CPF, you're like, I don't know what a CPF is. Well, then they have no idea. But once you figure it out, it's going to be a lot easier. All right, it's going to be a lot easier for them. So they always ask me for my CPF. I always give it to them. Then they kind of look at me strange, like, you have a CPF? Why? I'm like, because I live here. They treat you a little bit differently once they learn that you live here. Even though they don't speak English and I use a translator for everything, a CPF is kind of like a way of saying, yes, I'm part of you. I'm part of this culture. I live here and I love being here. So a CPF is very important. Anybody tells you you don't need one, well, let me put it this way. If you're not going to live here and you're just going to visit for less than 90 days, a CPF really isn't that necessary. You can rent, you can do anything you want to do. If you're going to live here like I do on a retirement visa or any amount of time, you're going to need a CPF because you're going to need to be able to do things and get around and be able to buy and purchase and grow your credit here. Because like I said, your credit in America doesn't follow you here. You have to start all over again. I've been here for 7 months now and just now got credit cards, just now got approved to buy a car, and apparently I did it in record-breaking time because apparently people say it takes years. So I guess it also knows who you know. Like my brother's out here and he's been very helpful. But anyways, CPF is very important. You need to get your CPF. And once you get that, we're going to go on to number 3. So, your next one is your FBI background checks and your state checks. FBI background checks are the most important. I'm going to put up a link as to where you can go and find out where you can get your FBI check. But there's a lot of places in your state that you can go. You just have to fill out the form. Once you fill out the form, they send it in. You'll usually get a digital copy within a few days. After you get that digital copy, then it's going to take about a week, 2 weeks to get an actual physical copy. Now, depending on where that copy came from, again, if it came from Georgia, if it came from Atlanta, wherever your FBI background check came from, just like the birth certificate, you're gonna have to send it back to the state that issued it. to an apostille in that state, because that apostille is going to have to translate it to Portuguese, certify it, and send it back to you, because that is another thing you're going to need to get your visa to move to Brazil, is you have to have an actual background check, less than 90 days. Now, as for the city check, I went to my city, just had them printed out. It was actually pretty cheap. And I had an apostille in Arizona do it. Not really necessary, because they just want the federal one, but I didn't want there to be any questions, so I made sure I did the city as well. You don't have to. I put it in there because I like to cover all my bases, just to make sure something doesn't happen and someone doesn't have a question. You're like, oh, God, what happened to your city background check? No, I did that. So, again, you send in the information, they send it back to you via digital, and then they send you an actual hard copy. You take that hard copy, you send it back to them. You have the apostille and that state where it was sent. Just look at the return address and that state. They will translate it, they will certify it, and they will send it back to you, because you're going to need that. Yes, I know there's a little bit of money here and a little bit of money there and a little bit of money here. It's actually not that bad, but these are things that the government does require, so you're going to have to do it. All right? We'll catch you guys on the next segment. Bye.